Thank you, Ken, for your most gracious comments. I really feel doubly blessed this morning. First, to be recognized by an organization that I have immense respect for what they do and how they do it, and really for the recognition from one of the great ones. Ken Langone loves capitalism, and I love and respect Ken Langone. My respect for him is not just based upon his awesome financial success, but rather how he's lived his life, and it's a shining example, frankly, to all of us if you study his history. And to help you do that, I'm going to give you one tip this morning. It's not going to be a stock tip, but it's going to be a reading tip. I finished about a week ago reading his book, I Love Capitalism, and it's really a terrific read, and it really gives you great insight into a very special human being. A lot of what I'm going to say is almost redundant, but it's worth repeating. Most of you knew Dale Fry, the past chairman of the Damon Runyon organization. In a very similar fashion to the way he invited Ken, he invited me on the board. But what I would say is, I knew enough about Dale Fry that if he backed something, you want to back it. And I backed it, and it was a great decision. I've been on the board for 22 years, and under Dale's leadership, and with people like Ken Langone, and the other wonderful people on the board, Damon Runyon grew, in my opinion, to be the highest impact cancer charity in the country. And it's really continued to prosper under Alan Leventhal's outstanding chairmanship and with a current board second to none. The board is very, very engaged. Before I talk about Damon Runyon, I'm going to emphasize how important it is to Toby. Toby in the audience, my wife of 54 years. She is as deserving of this recognition as I am. Having said that, she'd probably tell you she's more deserving, having lived with me for 54 years. I could have sympathized with that comment. And I want to give you a little bit about my trajectory and my philosophy of life. In September of 2010, Toby and I had dinner with Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Melinda Gates, and Mayor Mike Bloomberg. It was all about the Giving Pledge. And after the dinner, I sent a letter to Warren, and I'd like to read it to you. And I feel really blessed, very lucky. As you'll understand my background more when I read the letter. So this was written in September of 2010. Dear Warren, Toby and I very much enjoyed our dinner with you, Bill, Melinda, and Mayor Mike. The graciousness of the mayor's hospitality that was in his foundation office was matched only by the interesting guests and the quality of the dinner conversation. The concept of the Giving Pledge is intriguing and meritorious. The fact that Toby and I are even candidates to make the pledge is a testimony to the American dream. Let me explain. I am the son of a plumber who practiced his trade in the South Bronx. I'm the first generation American born in my family, as well as the first to get a college degree. My education is largely public school based, public grade school, high school, and college, all in the Bronx. I walked to college, I walked to grade school, I took a bus to high school. I had a short stint at the Columbia University Graduate School of Business where I earned an MBA, and this opened the door for me to Goldman Sachs. I joined the firm the day after graduation as I had a National Defense Education Act student loan to repay, had no money in the bank, and a 6-month-old child to support. Had near 25-year run of happiness and good fortune at Goldman. The last 19 years at Omega have been years of happiness and good fortune with a few bumps along the way. While I worked hard, I must say I had more than my share of good luck. Toby and I feel it is our moral imperative to give others the opportunity to pursue the American dream by sharing our financial success. The case for philanthropy has been stated by others in a most articulate way and in words that have impressed me. In the early 1900s, Andrew Carnegie said, "He who dies rich dies disgraced." In the 1930s, Sir Winston Churchill observed that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. In 1961, John F. Kennedy, in his inaugural address, stated, "Ask not what your country could do for you, ask what you could do for your country." Well before these gentlemen expressed their thoughts, it was written in the Talmud, "A man's net worth is measured not by what he earns, but rather what he gives away." And it was in that spirit that we've accepted the Giving Pledge. Now we're going to go back to Damon Runyon. okay, and explain why I'm so high in this organization and why it deserves support. I know markets, but I'm no expert in cancer research. And I listened to Melody and Chris this morning. I know why I'm not an expert in cancer research. This stuff is all over my head, above my pay grade, as they would say. However, like everyone in this room, we've all had friends and colleagues that have been impacted by this terrible disease. And I think we owe it to future generations, including my own children, my grandchildren, to find cures. And in my humble opinion, the scientists funded by Damon Runyon are the most likely to make that happen. And here's why, and it's somewhat repetitive what you've heard earlier, but it's worth repeating. First, his mission is simple yet profound. They fund the most promising young talent in cancer research. We all know that talent is everything in the field. I've had the privilege to work with incredible people over my career, and they have made all the difference. The same is true in cancer research. If we have the most brilliant and creative minds searching for cures, we are certain to find them. Second, Damon Runyon leverages its dollars very effectively. It makes relatively small investments in young scientists who, since Damon Runyon's picks exceptionally well, go on to receive significant funding from the federal government and other organizations over their careers. And out of this small investment comes breakthroughs to save lives, as we heard this morning. Third, its impact on cancer is truly impressive. 12 of its alumni have received the Nobel Prize, and its scientists have been a part of the great progress against cancer for over 70 years. I'm sure you got a good sense of the promising future from the scientists who just spoke. I mean, the sacrifice they make is just enormous, and you got to be very appreciative of what they do. Fourth, the Damon Runyon team is a stellar team. The staff is professional, no nonsense, and is deeply committed to the cause as any group could possibly be. And finally, Damon Runyon promises that 100% of their donations will go to research. There's nothing more important than knowing how your philanthropic dollars are put to work. That is why Toby and I have supported Damon Runyon for so many years. We're very proud to be part of the organization and hopefully play a role in the ending of this terrible disease. And I'm, of course, very, very honored to be the honoree this morning. I thank all of you for coming to support the event. I'm a numbers guy, and that's kind of how I live my life. And the gentleman who held the previous record is looking down on us right now, John Angelo, a great guy. He raised $2 million, we raised $2,650,000, and John would be very pleased that we broke his record. I also want to thank my co-chairs for their hard work towards making this event a big success. And I also want to especially thank the staff, who I'm sure pestered some of you in their phone calls, but all I want you to know is you responded to a very worthy cause and you made this a very success. And I'm extremely appreciative, and you have the right to call on me now, as many of you have in the past. But thank you very much for coming.
Wait a second. One more thing. So amazing. You're amazing. I wanted all of you to know that to honor Lee, we're going to name a new recipient of a Damon Runyon Physician Scientist Award in his honor, the Lee Cooperman Physician Scientist of the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. This is one of the scientists from the program that Michael and Lee helped fund, and his name is John Ferrone. Ferrone? Where are you, John? There you are. Okay. He's currently working under the mentorship of Nobel laureate Harold Varmus, who's here with us today as well, at Weill Cornell Medical Center, and his research focuses on developing new, more effective targeted therapies for lung cancer specifically. So Lee, you have a new scientist whose career you can follow, and hopefully he will make breakthroughs.
We'll help fund them.
Okay, help fund them. We already have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.